Hey, what's up? Nick here, and it's time for another devlog for my game Inspire. It's been a very busy month, so let's dive into the milestones that I want to achieve the past month. So the milestones that I want to achieve this month were the friendly patrols and friendly watchtower logics, the level design for Stormfall and the Arctic level, an enemy design of one of the bigger enemies of the game, the level generation of the jungle and the desert biome, and finally the ecosystem between the alien survivors and animals. So the first thing, the friendly patrols and the friendly watchtower. I've had friendly watchtowers and patrols in game for a while now, but I never had the proper logic for them because if you've seen the previous devlog, I might have mentioned the battle system of the game. Battle system is basically simply put a score which tracks how well are you doing against the alien invasion. The better you do, the more help you get from the resistance in a way, the other humans that try to help you in your battle, like the survivors that come to your aid. And what I've added now is patrols, which will spawn depending on how well you do. They can spawn when you enter a zone, but they can also spawn throughout your adventure in a certain zone. Same with the watchtowers, only the main difference is that they only can spawn at the beginning because it will take a time to build a watchtower, of course. This will make it feel less lonely, like it's not like you're the only one fighting against aliens, and I think it's a really cool addition to the game's flow. The battle manager is set up in a way that each zone holds a different kind of score, so depending on how well you do in a certain zone, that's how much support you receive in that zone. Next to these two patrols and the watchtower, there's also a care package which will be beamed in from the resistance headquarters, which will help you and give you a bit more health as well. The next milestone was actually designing the levels for Stormfall and Arctic Ridge. Stormfall is a level which has been inspired by Iceland. It's got a massive waterfall and frequent thunderstorms. And what I want to do with these thunderstorms is that they will both damage the player and the enemies, so they are both a tactical but also a fearsome thing to encounter in your travel. Arctic Ridge, on the other hand, is inspired by my trip to Spitsbergen, which is a really Nordic place which is super cold but really beautiful, and I want to achieve something similar for this snow biome. One major feature of the snow biome is that there's a cold system in place, so there are torches and campfires scattered around the map which you need to head to from time to time, otherwise you will die of the cold, which is not a great way to go. As you can probably tell, I tried to give each zone its own mechanics. So Stormfall has like the frequent thunderstorms, Arctic Ridge has the cold building up, and of course in the desert biome is that massive sandstorm that's roaming about. So each zone has their own different feel and makes it cool to discover what each zone may hold. In terms of enemy design, one major milestone for me was to finalize the sentient worm, and it looks like this. I'm really happy with how this worm behaves and looks, and it's just a massive creature which will be really hard for you to defeat. The step after level design is always level generation, where I create all the enemies, create all the loot, all the valuables, all the little treasures that you can find each zone. That's what I've done for the jungle and the desert zone the past month. So those are basically now ready to test, ready to tweak. So that will be one of the main focuses for the next playtest, which will be coming in the next few months, so keep an eye out on that. Finally, a small little change that I had to do coding wise with a great result in my opinion, is to make sure that the animals and the aliens aren't like friends. They don't have the same tag assigned to them. So now once an animal encounters an alien, they will go to battle. Same way if a predatory animal encounters you as the player or one of your survivors, they will attack. And so there's a really cool flow now going on where you can encounter like animals walking past and then aliens going after it, and then you can use that to your advantage. It's just a cool little flow now. It feels much more alive, and it doesn't feel anymore that everybody's out to get you. They're just doing their own thing, which is a really neat little trick, I think. Of course, the development wasn't all like sunshine and fun. I think I spent maybe half the month figuring out one of the most annoying bugs. But I finally squashed that little bastard, and the bug was actually involved with the save system, you know, pretty important thing. What actually happened was that every time I switched scenes or I saved, one of the abilities would go missing. And it was always another one. And I was like, what the hell is happening? Why is Why is there not like a conclusive one ability which is wrong? As it turns out, I have way in the past when I made the save system with a friend of mine, there's like a separate script which called inventory save helper where I need to put in all the savable objects, and I forgot to do one. So what happens then is once the game gets saved, the save system loops through all the available items and then compares their names. So there was always one name missing, so there would be one spot which was empty, so the next one would fill in that spot. So you can imagine my frustration and my happiness when I got it finally saved. It's just, that's like also with game dev, like for you as the player maybe those are like the super uninteresting things, but for us as a game developers it's like sometimes really hard to get something simple to working really robustly. So I'm really happy that I fixed that issue so I can now move forward on the next tasks for the next month. One thing that's of course also happening in parallel to the development is making the actual music for the game. Because I'm a music producer by trade who was delved into game dev a few years ago. So I'm making all the music myself, all the sound effects myself. So I thought it would be fun to have like a segment at the end of the devlog to showcase some of the music for the game. And this month I want to showcase the Stormfall theme. Stormfall is actually, as mentioned, based on Iceland, and I have been struggling to find the right direction for it. And then it hit me, I had the idea of making like a Viking kind of themed track, because it's really a rocky, gritty kind of zone. Make it a Viking theme but sci-fi. So what you're gonna hear is a combination of like Viking chants, but then combined with sci-fi elements and also with orchestra. What I'm trying to do with this game is create a hybrid score of like dance music, which sounds really sci-fi, but also like cinematic music, which sets a bit more of the emotional tone. So here's a first look at the theme for Stormfall. That's all for this month's devlog. I really hope you enjoyed the process. If you like the game, if you want to support me as a developer, make sure that you wishlist the game below. It will help me as a developer out a lot. Basically shows Steam how much interest in the game and wouldn't cost you a thing. But that's all for me this month. I really hope you have an awesome week, and I talk to you on the next devlog. Take care. Bye bye.